makes that really easy to do. Now at Alt F4, we have something called platform directory. And platform directory is the entire infrastructure. So if I go to config and then I go to infra, you'll see we have like API gateway, CDN, network, service, right? These are all these are self-serve configurations that eventually get translated into Terraform, other resources, and this configuration is read from automation downstream, which then creates these resources. So when I want an API gateway, I don't even have to go to Terraform to do it. I literally just copy and paste a config block, give my routes and all that stuff. It'll create the API gateway. It'll create the Lambdas for me. It'll wire everything together. And this is what I talk about in my courses. This is self-serve approaches. CDN, if I need a CDN, right? Alt F4 LLC blog, different environments. I can have a distribution for dev and for prod, right? And is this stuff out of the box? No, this is me as a platform engineer saying, okay, I know that our developers will need to create CDNs. What are the configurations for that? How are they enabled and empowered to configure those things, right? Network's a pretty easy one. Like I want to create a network on Amazon, right? So here's what I do. I say network, I give it a name, I tell it the CIDR, I tell it the provider. Now what's cool about this as well is that this out of the box means that in the future, developers That's what DevOps is. Developers. It's the Balmer peak. And so, we provide in the DSL or the language or the configuration language. Well, hey, do you want it on AWS? Do you want it on GCP? How many NAT gateways do you want? How many availability zones do you want? Right? Like all that kind of stuff, right? And to answer your question really quickly, can it deploy in this case to different accounts? Yeah. And do you know how I would do that? I would just add an account ID to Amazon. So here's what we would do. We would update the DSL or the configuration to just say account ID like that. Probably like this. Yeah. And then there you go. Now I have that value in my configuration. When Terraform runs, I can get that from the configuration. Now, platform directory is actually an internal self-serve service. So if I go to Postman really quickly, hang on. So if you're like, okay, but like, how does this work with other, how does this actually work? Well, platform directory is actually a service. It runs as a HTTP service, and all of our automation gets this data in the form of JSON, right? Structured JSON, right? So for example, these are our services and their configurations. Here's our networks and their configurations. We have Kubernetes cluster support. We have database cluster support. We have cache cluster support. We have API gate, or we have CDN support, right? All of these things are rendered as JSON. And then when Terraform runs, it literally makes a call to this and then just iterates over all of these things. Like, easiest way to describe it, let's go back to Accelodraw really quickly, move over here, is platform directory is right here. Right? This is platform directory. This is everything that gets all of our configuration comes from platform directory. And then say I have like a, like a Terraform network, right? And what's also really cool is maybe I have a Pulumi network, or maybe I have like a Pulumi network, right? Or something like that. Both of these make requests to platform directory to dynamically create their resources, meaning they're basically just filled full of for loops, and I don't have to write the code more than once. I write modules that are reused, and then when they run, they go out to platform directory, they get the JSON, right? They get the JSON, and then whether it be, Terraform, Pulumi, whatever, then they go out to AWS and they create those resources. Right? So this is my job. Like, this is what I do. This is platform engineering at its finest, basically, in my opinion. Right? So then a developer, right? Hey, chat, look, it's you. You guys are so cute. Look at you. A dev goes to platform directory, and now they have self-service automation and self-serving like creation of resources and stuff like that. So they don't have to come to me, right? They don't have to come to me and ask me, oh, I want to create a service. They just add that to the configuration. And then when the automation